try to skip all of the round penning, see if we don't need it. And we're just kind of measuring his willingness to listen through this joint, which is lost. Oh, that. Thank you. What was nice is when you took his halter off, he kind of turned and followed you to the gate. Ooh. So there he decided to go when I asked him to back. And even those couple of in-hammer jog, you saw the head kind of toss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just, there's still some right there. Still a little attitude in there. And again, not that that's so much that you're not going to be successful riding him, but we were looking for all of that to go away. So even that's enough to say, all right, go to work. But instead of it being a 20-minute warm-up, it should be all of 2 minutes. And if we didn't have the round pen today, we would just take him out and do that stuff in hand with the bridle on. And we wouldn't be able to send him off, but we would just keep doing the backing and the trotting until he got soft to pressure. Good boy. Thank you. Thank you.
I felt that same energy and attitude right when I went to get him.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I put the lead on.
Yeah, so on the way in, like if he's in front of you, or don't be afraid to stop and back him up, or if you feel like you need his halter to stop. So yeah, that would be all that. And again, I'll show you at the end, so when you walk him out, you feel a little bit more confident walking him out. And again, they're not, it's like, not like they're wanting to give up any of that, of their own decision making, or you gotta kind of earn it, and that's what that word convinces him, that you can keep acting like a turd, and you're going to work, or you can kind of settle in. And again, I'm sure we could have saddled him up and just got on him and have those little discussions under saddle.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're riding a horse that is thinking about testing you, and then you have to, again, ride it out or ride through that behavior, and that's no fun.
Yeah, I stopped him multiple times on the way in.
Perfect. So did you feel when you were stopping him on the way in, did you feel like he was getting better or softer? Like with your stops, did you feel like he was still bumping you or coming into your space or?
Yeah, like after maybe the third or fourth time, like I stopped him, also backed,
Yep.
a step or two, but it got a little bit better by the time we got to the door.
Yeah. So if you don't notice a significant change, like the second time, what that tells us, or what that means, is that you're not backing him enough. So
Okay.
if you stop him and you feel like he's in your space, or he bumped your halter, or he's just not engaged, or he didn't stop quick enough, back him up however many steps you think. 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't matter how many. But if you stop him a second time and it's not significantly better, that means you didn't back him enough.
Okay.
So the second time you might have to back him 6 steps or 7, whatever.
Yeah.
The backing is what's going to motivate him to listen better.
Okay.
So you notice out here, like he kind of took off once or took on twice. I made him work a little harder, and then that's when we got our best effort kind of. Yeah, so just remember, the work motivates him to do something different.
Yeah.
So if he's not really different and you don't make him back more, you're kind of saying, well, that behavior is good enough.
Okay.
So same thing when you walk him out here. If you feel like he's not engaged in you or not listening, yeah, it's real nice to back him up 1 or 2 steps, but he might be saying that's not enough to change my behavior.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To back up
Yeah.
the whole length of the arena to get him to finally understand, listen, this is work. You're either going to listen or go back to work. So that's what's nice about the round penning is one or two fixes or corrections become meaningful because they're working versus the backing up. Well, it's not really working hard, so it doesn't always give us the results we're looking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
All right, sounds good. So I'll just measure my stop. What were you going to say? Alright. Perfect. And I'll stay on the same spot as when I was walking. And again, I'm in the same spot, so I don't need to do anything. I don't need to back him up. He's dialed in. So what we'll start doing this week, as we don't need any of that warm-up, is we'll saddle on the cross sides, we'll come out, and we're just going to do all of our warm-up in here. So I'll walk, I'll stop, I'll back. And we just, as soon as those four things are perfect, walking, stopping, backing, and jogging, then we're ready to get on. But when I say perfect, I mean I want to back pleasantly without having to whack it. So see how he's still not kind of moving out of my way? I'm going to get into him so he backs a little bit more willingly. I don't want to have to slap him. Oop. Here's my cue to back. Thank you. So I'm reinforcing it with the kind of a slap and the voice. Boom. Thank you. So now we've gone away from the slap, but I still had to use kind of that voice. It'd be great to get it just with the body language. So the first 3 or 4 times I needed the range or the slap. Boop. Thank you. Thank you. And you can see the head's coming down and he's backing much softer. So that will become our warm-up where we can so as long as I can trot, stop, back, his hand softly. That's what we'll do to decide, okay, is he safe to get on? So instead of the round penning, that might take 2 or 3 minutes. So we'll come out and do that and say, all right, he feels good. We're ready to get on. So we're slowly moving away from the need of the round pen because he's showing us he's getting there quicker and quicker and quicker. But when you walk him out after we ride, you might have to get into him a little bit like I just did and say, hey, I said back up. And again, it's not good enough that he just does it. He's got to do it softer and softer and softer to where you don't need the aid.
How do you reinforce the trot? Because I think that's something I would have trouble with, asking him to trot next to me.
Yeah, he is a little lazy. So it's going to be the same thing. We're going to develop a ask, tell, demand kind of cue, where I'm going to ask him to trot, and then I'm going to kind of tell him to trot, and then I'm going to kind of demand that he trots. And we're not going to work on trotting until he does it when I ask. The problem with most people is they get him trotting, it's not pretty, but then they work on trotting. And you only do a trot transition maybe 3, 4, 5 times in a session. And that's really what your trouble is. Your trouble isn't trotting. They know how to trot. It's can I go from the walk to the trot with little to no ask. So I'm going to kind of kiss, because that's usually the first cue that I'll use to change your behavior. My leg is on him with a little baby squeeze. If he doesn't listen, it's going to become a bump. And if he still doesn't listen, it's going to become a kick. So the kiss is saying, I need you to pay attention to me. What does my leg ask you to do? Well, it's squeezing ever so slightly. Maybe I'm leaning forward a little. Whatever your please go forward cue is. If he doesn't pick up the trot, you're going to see me give him a little bump. If he still doesn't, it's going to be a kick. And once I get him trotting, if it's not pretty, I'll bring him back and we'll do it all again. Until the trot transition is nice. It'll look like this. Thank you. So we got him trotting, but it wasn't pretty, so we're going to lock him, and then go through that procedure again. So that time it was a little squeeze and the kiss, the second time. Thank you. And you might do this 4 or 5 times until you think trot, you give him that little baby squeeze, and now we're trotting. So now we can work on trotting because the trot transition is easy. So you might have one of those little fights where you have to make him do it, and then it's going to become easier and easier. But don't be afraid to spend 4 or 5 minutes working on that transition. Now we're going to start going into some of that lateral bending where I want to be able to see his left eye. I'm asking him to give to my left hand. My left leg is actually pushing his body away from the circle. And I want him just to soften and get to me laterally. Thank you. So again, my right leg still tells him to circle to the left, like we talked about last time, but if I want his circle to get bigger, my left leg is going to say, still circle to the left, but make your circle bigger every stride. Now my right leg wants to close the circle. Now same thing with the walk. I'm going to ask him to walk. If I feel like I have to use more aid than I want to, we would back and then we trot until finally that walk cue is easy. I'm going to ask him to trot again. Now it's a little kiss and that little squeeze. Again, I'm only asking him to give laterally, but you can see as he gives laterally, that head starts to come down. And it doesn't matter what size trot you want, we can make it move out. The trick is, once you ask for it, don't take that gate off until you get it. We gotta get to where I'm not kicking, so I can't be kicking every stride. If I bump him, I'm never gonna bump him just to keep going this speed. If I start bumping right now, we're gonna bump until I get a bigger trot, and then I'll take that bump away. So my cues are always to get something. I'm never gonna bump just to maintain that speed, because I need to teach him he's gonna maintain it on his own. So if he dies down, like that, I'll bump, get more. As soon as he gives me more, I'm going to take that cue away. If I can't get it with my leg, then we'd add a prop if we had to. Every time he tries to fall to the inside, my inside leg can drive it back to the other side. Thank you. If I just want to do a circle, it's that outside leg, driving him around that circle. Want to make my circle bigger? Take the outside leg off and put the inside leg on. we'll say, okay, maybe I want a little better stop than that, so we're gonna back them up. After the halt, get them jogging again, and then just work on that halt. Ooh. Again, I don't like those extra steps where I'm getting heavy in my hands. So we're gonna halt until I get it with less pain, with less contact. Ooh. Almost there, I want it one step sooner. So again, our goal is not to stop for the halt, it's to halt with minimal contact. Here it is. Ooh. He's still kind of on top of me, so we're going to back him up a little bit more. Thank you. So this backing is his consequences to give me that halt just a little quicker. And again, he's not being bad, he's just a little lazy. He's stopping on his front end versus his hind end. Ooh. And we'll say that was a little better. I didn't have as much weight in my hands. So his reward is I don't make him back. I have to take that work away. If I make him back now, I lose the opportunity to praise him for what he just did.
So do I understand this correctly? Like you're using your outside leg to almost like when you want to turn, almost push them into the turn?
If I want to make the right hand turn right now, I just want to turn to the right. Left leg on, turn your body, Nugget. I just want to turn right again, like as quick as I can get over there. Right leg comes off, left leg on. Right now, he's circling, because my left leg is telling the body, as quick as you can get around this circle, get around it. It's almost like if I want to do a turn on the haunches. Let's say we stop, and I just want to turn the haunches to the right. Like I wouldn't put my left leg on, because that's not letting his body go that way.
Mm-hmm.
I got to take that leg off, put my left leg on, and say, hey, move that body to the right. So it's really the same, a turn is really the same thing. So the only time I'm going to engage that inside leg is if I want to turn to the right, but make the body actually go into my corner. Like here, I'm going to make his body drift to the fence, but we're turning to the right. Now I want to use up all this land over here. We're turning to the right, but I'm actually wanting his body to go to the left. So you see I'm closing the left door, but I want his face to the right. I'm closing the right door. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I got it, like I said, it all goes back if I have to give his body somewhere to go. Don't think about where we're turning with his head. That's easy. My hands tell his head where to go. My legs are really telling that body where to go. So if I want the body just to turn right as quick as possible, I got to take that right leg off, and my left leg is pushing this around. And again, whether you, as he gets better, you're lifting the outside rein, guiding with the inside rein, all of that is true. But what doesn't make sense to me is why would I put this leg on him to turn to the right? See how now his body's actually going to the left to turn to the right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a pretty circle, but it's not going to get me to the right as quick as I can, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it really depends on what your agenda is. If I want a nice pretty circle, and I want it to be congruent, round, and all of that, sure. You can close that inside door and make a nice complete circle. But if I just want to get there, it's outside leg.
Okay.
I'm making that turn quick. I'm getting the fence and I just want to turn to the left. Again, I'm not going to put the left leg on and send the body that way. When we get here, we turn to the left with that outside leg. And that way there, what we do with the turns is gonna help with the side cuts. We'll talk about the canter here in just a little bit. So that was a lazy trot. So we'll get him going. And then we're gonna get it good. Even the head comes. So the head came up.
Yeah.
He didn't think, he wasn't really interested in trotting. Thank you. Well, so I don't want to feel all that resistance. So you're going to have to do this when you ride it and get it so you get it good. Now I'll win the battle here, but he's still going to know the difference between me riding him and you.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure when you ask for that trot transition, I can't have contact on his face. I can't close the front door and get the nice trot transition. So right now, our only goal is to get trotting. I'm not going to hold and make him trot with his head down right now because just getting trotting is hard. Once just trotting is easy, then I can ask him to trot with the head down.
Okay.
But don't be afraid to take a step back and say, let's just get trotting easy. And once that's easy, then we can ask him to trot while framed up and all of that.
Yeah, so you're just breaking it into smaller pieces.
Yeah, meaningful steps, yeah. Thank you. Again, anytime he dies out, and I feel like I have to use leg, I'm going to use enough to change his behavior. So if he doesn't listen to that little squeeze I give him, then it's going to become that bigger kick where he has to give me more energy. Thank you. See how nice he bends to the left?
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the right. Not so nice. This is something we have to work on. This left, this right bend. Thank you. But again, every time he gives me something, his reward is release of something. So if I hold to get him to bend to the right, I have to release. Hold till I get something and then release. Hold and release. I'm not saying hold it there. I'm saying give it to me once. His reward is release. So they learn because of the release, not the hold. The hold just changes behavior. He's going to learn what behavior I want by how often I can give him that release. So your job is to make sure when he gives you that behavior, I give him that release. Again, not a great stop. So I'm going to kind of have a predetermined amount of contact I want to feel when I get that stop. And if it's more, then we need to keep working on a halt. So don't just stop and be happy with the stop. So we're looking for not those extra steps. Thank you. And just like on the ground, that backing is going to reinforce the halt.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I can live with. It's a little better than what I got. We don't add that. And that should progressively get harder and harder for him to achieve. Next week, we shouldn't be expecting the same. We should be getting a better stop.
Mm-hmm.
Less hands. But it only happens as long as you are giving him cues before the hold. So think about it this way. The first cue that I give him to change behavior is always the last one I need. So if right now I want to trot and the first thing I do is kick, I always need to kick because that's the first cue. The kick for me is going to be like the third thing. I'm going to kiss, I'm going to squeeze, and then I'm going to kick. How's it going, Joe? So here it is. And eventually, every day he comes out, it's just going to be that kiss and that squeeze, or eventually just that kiss. Because he knows if he doesn't do it on those first two asks, that kick is coming. Now with you, if you say, well, I don't kick as hard as you, or my legs aren't as strong, you might use a crop. But again, make sure you're using the crop after you ask with the kiss or the squeeze or whatnot.
Yeah, so it's always that progression.
Yeah, same thing with my ball. If I just pull back right now, that's the first cue. I'm always going to have to pull back. I'm going to say, whoa, sit deep, and then use my hands. Ooh. I don't like that I had to get to the hands that much. Ooh. And that's a little nicer, so we'll take that back away. So now we'll try to pick up the canter. So we haven't cantered him yet, so this will be our first canter.
Oh, awesome.
So when you canter him at home, or when your instructor has you canter, what's your cues that you give him?
Well, the verbal cue is a kiss.
Yeah.
And then, so like I usually try to raise my energy, then do the verbal cue, and then put my right leg back, or outside leg.
Perfect. So you kiss, you raise your energy, but then it's the right leg that going this way that you would use to canter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to me that makes sense because the first, the first stride of the canter has to be this outside leg. So the canter is a 3-beat gait. The first step is this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to move that leg over so it makes sense that you squeeze with your outside leg. You would be surprised at how many people come and they've been taught to pick up this left-hand canter, squeeze with the inside leg. And again, to me that makes no sense because now I'm inhibiting the horse's barrel from coming to the inside, which is the first stride of the canter.
Mm-hmm.
So that should gel with everything else we've been teaching him. If I put my right leg on you, you should move off it. That's going to be the first sign of the canter. So you're almost going to see a haunches in. As I ask him to canter, that butt should come off the fence just a little. This outside right leg is the first stride of the canter. Then the diagonal pair, and then the inside left leg will be his third stride. And again, we're going to get it. I'm going to kiss. I'm going to raise my energy. And then I've got to make him canter. And it might be a kick. I might have to slide from my reins. Whatever it is, we got to get it, however good, bad, or ugly as it is. And then we can work on that canter transition. So the first step is just getting it. And then we can work on getting it a little softer. So here we go. I'm going to kiss. I'm going to kick. Thank you. And because it wasn't pretty, we're not working on anything other than canter. Get him walking again. Thank you. The halt wasn't great. Thank you. A little softer. Thank you. So you can see how often we're working in this canter, not just get him canter and go. It's work on that transition.
Mm-hmm.
Because the transition is really the most important piece. It's not really the canter. And you can see when I asked him, I'm really giving him that head. Because the most important thing is that we cantering them. But my reins are in a position where if I got in trouble, I can pull back. So I'm not going like this. I'm just reaching those hands forward, taking that contact off his face. And it's getting a little softer each time. Think about it, we've asked them to canter 8 or 9 times already. And if you just get them cantering, or your instructor just gets them cantering, you might do that once or twice in a session. Oh, it's that time with a squeeze and a kiss. So we'll end on that one. Not end, but give them a break. Hey, I don't want that extra step. Thank you. And last time we talked about the difference between teaching him to back and making him back as a consequence. So what I'm doing now is when he doesn't stop, I'm not teaching him to back, I'm making him back. We'll review again at the end the teaching of the back, but it's kind of like a slap in the chest. I asked you to stop a little quicker, so stop a little quicker. What's nice is when we give him his head's right where we want it. He's riding smooth. He's not pulling my reins out of my hands. So again, I'm not sure how he rode before. I can't compare him to that because I don't know. But this is what's nice, is when you let him walk off, he said that's perfect. To me, that's like a perfect headset.
Mm-hmm.
It's not way up in the air, it's not on.
You know, just to make sure I understand what you're saying about how you use your legs, are you saying, I get what you're saying about using your outside leg to make, say, a sharper turn. But if you're just going around, say, in a circle, is inside hand to outside leg what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm just circling here, my only goal is to stay on the rail as we circle. Yeah, my outside leg is going to kind of drive him around this circumference. Now, let's say he gets off the rail like this. He turns too sharp, and I want him back out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now my inside leg will send him back to the rail, but we're still going around the circle. But I want his body to go that way, so my inside leg will push him back to the fence.
Okay.
Yeah. Always think of the body giving to pressure. So the body's always going to go opposite the leg you're using.
Okay.
So if I'm on the rail, now I put my inside leg on, that doesn't make sense because he can't go anywhere. So I can put my inside leg to keep him here, but that's pretty silly. He's not coming off the fence. So why would I put the inside leg on just to circle around this way? Now again, if I wanted to do something fancy, like bring his nose to the inside, and maybe really round out this, like so he's kind of rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I can do this where I'm making him flex or bend. So now my inside leg is saying, keep your body on the fence, but bring your head to the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so here it would be my inside leg is keeping his body on the fence, because my reins are really telling his face to come to the inside. So if I really wanted to wrap him around my leg like I am right now, yeah, it's inside leg. But if I just want to walk around the circle, it's really my outside leg is telling him when to turn. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, there's other reasons why I put my inside leg on it, but only if I'm asking the body to stay to the rail. Like this. So I wanted to yield to the inside. Now eventually we can use your outside leg, and let's say I want to go haunches in. Now I want his face to stay on the rail, but his butt to go to the inside. So now my outside leg is pushing that haunches in while we're traveling around the rail. But again, at the end of the day, I always have to think, if I bump with this leg, his body's going to go against it. So as long as I'm cognizant, where do I want his body to go? That's the leg I'm going to push with.
Okay.
Again, the classical examples like barrel racing, like I want to circle a barrel, I don't want a pretty wide circle around it. So if my barrel's here and I turn, if I put my inside leg on, look at how long it takes us to get around this barrel. If we're circling it, the barrel is way over there because my inside leg is on. I'm pushing the body away from the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like an inside leg circle. It's pretty, but it's not the most convenient. Here's my barrel, outside leg, circle around that barrel as quick as we can to get around the barrel. Now we'll try that cantering this way. So again, I'll kiss, squeeze, and then demand. Thank you. Now see how he's falling in here with his inside?
Mm-hmm.
As he wants to fall in, I'm going to use that inside leg to say use the whole circle. I'm not going to let him kind of fall to the inside, so that's when I might use my inside leg as a canter and say, let's use our whole circle. So in essence, I want to push his body to the fence and kind of give me that head, like that right there. So that would be a good example of when I might use that inside leg. Thank you. Thank you. So that's kind of the behavior we're looking to kind of see if it's in there as we make it work a little harder. Thank you. Now, if that kick and I had stopped him, then that's going to happen more and more often because it would get him out of work.
Mm-hmm.
Because we made him keep working. He's going to say, that didn't get me out of work. Again, that kick was a result of my little slap on his neck. want that slap, pick up your canter a little quicker when I ask for my leg. So, thank you. Trot. Thank you. So right there, you just stop. You know what we were doing instead of me. Thank you. Trot. Trot. Thank you. So, yes, that's not the first time he's ever kind of kicked out.
No, it would not be.
What's that?
No, he certainly has kicked out
Yeah,
before.
so he got to where we're asking him to do a lot. Because it didn't get him out of work, those behaviors are going to go away. If that behavior made me nervous or stressed, and I stopped him kind of from working, then he thinks, wow, that got me out of work, let me try it again in the future. So I'm not saying that's the last time he's going to kick out. He got mad at me kind of putting more pressure on him. That was just his answer. His answer didn't get him out of work, so that's going to go away.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's,
same thing here. I want him to use the whole circle, so maybe I do put the inside leg on him because I want his body to use all of this well. I want to keep him pinned on that rail. And give me your face to the inside. Now I just want to make a small left-hand circle. The inside leg comes off and the right leg. Do one more little canter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the reason we do all of that foundation is if that kick out is in him and I just get on him and try to ride it out of him, it's a much bigger fight than one or two little kicks like we had today. We've already told him all along the way of what he's going to do and how he should behave, and we've nipped those behaviors in the butt early on. So it's a much simpler battle on our part. But again, like you said, the trick is getting him soft off your legs. So when you say go, he's almost got like a sticky gas pedal. Like you put the gas on, he doesn't want to go anywhere. So you're working on those transitions and getting them perfect. Like you should be doing that 5, 8, 10 times a ride. Or work on that trot transition. Walk to the trot, walk to the trot. Get it to where you just think trot and he's trotting.
yeah.
And again, if you need the prop, use it. But after a week, 2 weeks, you should be weaning yourself off the prop. You shouldn't still need it. And that tells us that you're using it effectively. You need longer jeans, I think. They're riding up. But again, if you think about it, it all started in the beginning with that trotting in hand. I said trot in hand, and a couple times he said no. And then it was trotting on his back, and a couple times he said back in a couple. So with him, it's just convincing him he has to move forward when you tell him to. He's been allowed to dog those cues or not listen to them a few times. But again, what was nice is he backed right down. He tried one little kick out, and then it goes away. So now as you walk him out, you're going to kind of do what we did in the beginning. Where he's not even allowed to touch my hand. So as you're walking him out, hold about 4 or 5 inches from the lead, but he can't even walk faster than I want to walk. The minute he's out in front of me, like if he gets out here, I would stop and back him up. And if one little correction doesn't work, send us back up 6 or 8 times. But I want to walk out with minimal contact on this lead, where he's right at my shoulder willingly. If I feel like I'm dragging him, I might take my lead rope and give him a little slap in the hip and say, I said be up here with me. So it all goes back to those 4 doors. If he's rushing through that front door and it feels like you have to rush to keep up with him, just stop him and back him up. If he feels like you're dragging him, kind of push from the hip, but you should be able to slow your walk down, and he slows his down, or you speed yours up, and he says, I want to stay with you. So when you're out there walking him out, don't just walk around, do little games where slow down, speed up, turn into him, turn away. So the more he stays focused on you, the better he's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to bring another horse out here, and he might say, oh, I want to go visit that other horse. Now, if he does get naughty, and you go to back him up, just remember you're going to back him up enough to change his behavior.
Okay.
So if you back him up 4 times and he's still a dink, back him up 8 times. If he's still a dink, back him up 12 strides. And remember, when we back him up, here's my cue to back. He's not listening to it. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this. And he has to back up until he backs up willingly with that head down. Thank you. Try to stay off that face because we want that face to stay soft. Oop. Here's my cue to back, and now we've got it. So you needed one little reminder right there to back up without the lead rope slapping him in the chest. That make sense?
Yeah, I can see on the way when I was bringing him in, I didn't have the backup quite right. I was more in front of him than to the side.
Yeah, and the problem with that is now if I'm here and he says no, he's going to run right over you.
Yeah.
So I like to be kind of here. So I like everything to be body position. This means walk. This means halt. I'm just standing. The minute I do this, I want you backing out of my way. And again, none of it involves the lead. It's all my just body. The lead is just going to help reinforce that body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect.